A disaster is coming in just 3 days. Everything is going to change, and the American people are going to suffer. What we know is that 63% of Americans would like to save more money next year. However, 77% believe that higher prices are going to make this much harder on them. Now, this is not the only thing that you need to keep in mind. A lot of people are worried, and they should be. Right now, we have about 1 in 3 workers that are worried of an upcoming layoff. And again, they should be worried. But there's something even bigger that's in the works, and I want to address what that actually is. While the American people feel this way, right? Guess what? There is something even bigger coming. This is massive. In just a few days on December 22nd, something known as Title 42 is going to end. This is huge. This means that immigrants coming into the United States won't be turned back in an expedited fashion. They can just come on into the United States. And again, it's all because of Title 42 expiring on December 21st. So, what does this mean? Well, what's scary about this is that currently in the United States, we get about 6,500 immigrants coming into the United States every single day. 6,500. Probably thinking that's a lot. Guess what? The estimates, and this is what's scary, the new estimates are showing that we will get between 9 and 15,000 immigrants could hit the border every single day. Every single day. That's huge. Just look at some of these. Look at this. So it says, breaking a huge migrant caravan of over 1,000 people crossed illegally into El Paso, Texas last night. This was on December 12th. Okay? Making it the largest single group we have ever seen. The city of El Paso reports Border Patrol now has over 5,000 in custody and has released hundreds to the city streets. Wonderful. But look at this. Let me pause this one really quick. Here's another one. This one was from this morning. Okay? This is from this morning at 7:11 a.m. I'll play it. Our Fox News thermal drone over part of another group of several hundred migrants that crossed illegally into Eagle Pass, Texas early this morning. The consistency here has been almost non-stop going back to the spring. Large groups almost every day, sometimes multiple per day. Pause that one as well. Look at this one. I'm going to read, you can't even see it, but I will read you what it says. It says new. And again, this is from December 18th. This was yesterday. This is part of a group of several hundred migrants that crossed illegally into Eagle Pass, Texas this morning. Chilly in the mornings here, so Border Patrol gives the migrants space blankets, mostly single adults from Nicaragua, Colombia, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic. Now, here's what you need to know about this. I've seen videos from people here inside the community that have sent me emails showing me, and they were very fuzzy, and so obviously I didn't want to show them because it wouldn't look very good, but they're shaky, fuzzy videos of them, near the border or in certain areas closer to the border, Mexico and the United States, where buses are just lining the streets. They're just waiting for Title 42 to end, which again is going to end in just 3 days. Now, if we didn't have enough to already worry about, now we have to find out another way to provide for additional people. This is becoming a big concern, and I talked about this over the past week, how the American people feel like all we do here in the United States is we get taxed, and then the government sends our money to other countries. Guess what? In this instance, we will not be able to send all of our money to other countries because we will have to provide some support and relief to those that are coming into the United States illegally. Now, I'm all for immigration when it's done right. When people go through the process to legally obtain their residence card or their citizenship. That's perfectly fine. And when the nation can first and foremost provide for the people that are struggling here. The elderly, the veterans, children, right? We hear this all the time. Even Nancy Pelosi was asked about Title 42 expiring and if Congress is going to do anything about it. And Nancy Pelosi, I don't remember her exact words, but she simply said, we've had discussions on it. It's fun to talk about, but we're not going to get anything done this year. That's all she said. That it's fun to talk about, but they're not going to be able to do anything for immigration because Democrats want to really open it up, bring more people in, which, again, I think if we bring more people into the United States and there's jobs available for them and there's a need, which there are, that's great. Because, again, if we can tax those people as well, bring in more money, right? Bring in more revenue to the U.S. government, that's great. But the problem is the process to get them here, get them into the U.S., get them into the system, right? That's an issue. But don't just take it from me, okay? Let me read to you what Governor Gavin Newsom out of California, he had to say the other day. And I quote, "The fact is, what we've got right now is not working and is about to break in a post-42 world unless we take some responsibility and ownership." Then he went on to add, "The government continues to send more and more migrants to California as the state is taking care of folks." And here's what you need to know about California. And I don't know how many of these people that we're seeing here are going to be heading to California. But what I can tell you is California is going to provide for illegal immigrants as well. You go to other states, they're not going to get that. You will not get another state that is going to provide for illegal immigrants the way California has, which is one of the reasons why everybody just moves over to California. Which for residents, for people that have been there for years or decades, it makes it difficult because now they're losing their jobs to other people coming in. So again, we'll see. But Gavin Newsom also went on and added, and I quote, "We're already at capacity at 9 of our sites. We can't continue to fund all of these sites because of the budgetary pressures now being placed on this state and the offsetting issues that I have to address. The reality is, unless we're doing what we're doing, people will end up on the streets." Now, I just want to mention this because I was reading this just last night. But here in Washington State, where I live, our Governor Jay Inslee, he's open to the idea, and he thinks it's a strong possibility that here in Washington State we will have a state income tax very soon. And the reason for this is to provide for people that are homeless, right? And in order to address the homeless situation that we have currently in the state, we have to, be taxed from the state point of view, okay? So again, Gavin Newsom is saying pretty much the same thing. If we're not doing what we're doing, people will end up on the streets. Well, California, they obviously have a state income tax, and which is one of the reasons why I think a lot of people moved out of California, is because a lot of people I know moved out of California because they were getting taxed almost 50%. So, we'll see what happens there. Now, I also want to address something else. A lot of people have been saying I think this is interesting. A lot of lawmakers have been saying that they're trying to get a deal done. They would like to secure the border a little bit more, right? Republicans have been asking Democrats to secure the border for about 2 years. Democrats have done very little. They haven't done much, right? Even when Nancy Pelosi was supposed to, head the whole border situation, yeah, and she got pulled from that because, well, she did pretty much nothing. Or did I say Nancy Pelosi? I meant Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris. She did pretty much nothing, right? But at the same time, all this has been going on. Democrats have been asking Republicans over the past year to bring back the child tax credit payments, right? Well, here's what's being talked about now. According to a recent report, Democrats could be using the end of Title 42 as a way to entice Republicans to make a deal. Let that sink in. We're seeing this, right? We're seeing this. We're seeing this, right? People just in line. We're seeing this, we're seeing all this stuff simply because Democrats are trying to prove a point that Republicans have been unwilling to negotiate. And so, here's what this could mean. Republicans could get more security at the border, could get additional funding, right? I don't think they're going to try to finish the border wall, but it's on the table. In exchange, Democrats would bring back the child tax credit payments. For people that are going to ask, well, what about people on Social Security? That's not part of the discussions. The discussions are if we bring in more people, right, more migrants, is this going to cause more harm to those that are still looking for a job or get very little hours? Fortunately, the answer is yes. So, if we bring in more migrants to work and take on those jobs and take on those hours, could kids, negatively feel the impacts? The answer is yes, right? The kids currently here in the U.S. Now, even though there are reports that Democrats are using this as a bargaining chip, Senator Joe Manchin stated just yesterday he believes that President Biden will come out and extend Title 42. He said, and I quote, "The president needs to use every bit of power he has as an executive to find a way or ask for an extension. The president can basically, I think, ask for that extension. I think his administration is doing that or will do that. I sure hope they do, but we need an extension until we can get a viable answer for this." Again, we don't have an answer for this. We haven't been able to come up with an answer over the last 2 years. I don't think we're going to get an answer in the next week or two. I have a feeling, and again, this is just my opinion, Democrats have been wanting to increase immigration for many years. It's nothing new, right? But this, and this is one way they could go about doing it. So I don't think that President Biden, if he can, I don't know if he even has the ability to legally to get Title 42 extended, because again, Title 42 was done because of the whole state of emergency, the public health emergency, right? So again, that's the issue. That Title 42, we got the public health emergency, we got additional SNAP benefits and additional funding, and the Biden administration has much more power because of just being in this public health emergency. So we're going to see what happens moving forward. What I can tell you, though, is if Title 42 is not extended, we're going to have disaster starting in just 3 days, on December 22nd, 2022. This means everything is going to change, and the American people will suffer as a result. So that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.